Hi everybody, welcome to a new video about messing around with old tech stuff. Now I recently replaced the electrolytic capacitors on this vintage Teac A-480. Because I had other problems with the unit, I wasn't certain that the capacitor replacement would fix my issues, and I decided to only replace the right channel capacitors first. I did that, and I also took care of some other issues with the unit, and I was left with a fully functional cassette deck with one channel on old caps and one channel on new caps. I figured this was a chance to test out whether the difference between the two was discernible by ear, so I made a video about it, and it turns out myself and many viewers were able to hear a difference. The side with the new caps sounded much brighter, meaning that the higher pitched sounds were clearer and overall the sound was a bit less dull. With the video done and published, I replaced the remaining old caps on the left channel, thinking that the deck would be completely refreshed and sounding great. Once done, I did a quick check of how the new left channel now sounded in comparison with the right channel that already had new caps. And if you're reading the title of this video, you can guess the answer. I couldn't hear an improvement to the left channel, and the right channel still sounded brighter, meaning that the fact that they previously had different caps wasn't the cause of the difference. I'm sorry if I misled anyone with a previous video. When I created it, I knew there were issues with the methodology, and I was very transparent about how I was doing everything. Anyone familiar with this type of equipment could see there were a number of variables that weren't being controlled. The biggest was that the tape head itself obviously doesn't use the same components to work on the left and right channels. Different electrical parts write and read to different areas of the tape. The deck also has multiple channel-specific adjustments that could have easily wandered out of spec. And of course, there's the fact that this is just a piece of consumer equipment, and it's quite possible that even brand new from the factory, there would have been perceivable differences between how the unit recorded and played back the two tracks. These differences would have never been discernible to anybody using the deck how it was intended. Where does that leave us? Can I at least provide an answer to the question I originally asked? Can we hear a difference between new and old capacitors? Let's get to it. I'll quickly play audio samples of the left channel pre and post recap, then a single sample of the right channel post recap. Unlike the previous video, I won't repeatedly switch between them, but feel free to do it yourself. Each clip will be exactly 10 seconds long, and YouTube allows you to skip a video ahead 10 seconds by pressing the L key and back 10 seconds by pressing the J key. That way you can switch back and forth as much as you like. The K key pauses. Here we go.
Man, I wish it was yesterday. Man, I wish it was yesterday. Man, I wish it was yesterday.
Before I wrap this up, I will note that I did normalize the sound level of the three samples in post-production. Before I did so, left channel pre-recap was quietest, left channel post-recap was loudest, and right channel post-recap was in between, meaning that it seems like the pre-recap channels were a little bit quieter than the post-recap channels. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee that the level differences are due to the recap. They could have been due to other inconsistencies in the setup between recordings. I had to normalize the sound level in post because it's otherwise impossible to compare the quality of the recordings by ear. If not leveled, the louder one will always sound better. So, the recap may have resulted in a stronger signal being written to and or read from the tape, though whether that leads to a qualitative difference in the sound, I personally can't hear. And that's basically my conclusion. In this specific case of replacing the caps of a 1978 cassette deck, I can't hear a quality difference between the left channel before and after. The right channel does sound different, but as I've said, that likely isn't due to the recap. So, can you hear a difference? Please let me know.